Hey, my name's Nicholson and welcome to this channel. Now in this video I'm going to talk about rents have hit record highs and what does that mean for us as property investors. Now before we dive into that, this channel is all about my investment journey. I'm a property investor. I'm building my portfolio this year and I'm taking you guys on a journey with me so you can see the good, the bad and the ugly of property investing. Now, how can you join along and see what happens? Very easily, take that finger of power, spin it round, smash that subscribe button over there and hit the bell notification. You'll also see me investing for my two daughters. I've got Georgia who's 21. We bought, completed and renovated our first property together up in Doncaster. You can see that on the channel, so if you go and check out the other videos on here or in the comments, the first pinned comment, you can see when I bought it, and my little baby Emily who is just 1. So do make sure you subscribe and see what is going on. Now, record rents. We've just seen that rents have hit their highest ever, which is £1,163, which is crazy, right? Now, what does that mean? Well, for property investors, it's not all good. Sometimes it's going to be seen as, yes, we're greedy landlords. But what I found is that it's actually the tenants that are bidding this market up. And so the last 3 properties that I've rented out so far this year, I put one on the market, for example, in Dorking for £850, and people were offering me more, right? And that's not really happened to me before over the last, I've been in property for 20 years now, and it never really happened. I invest in Surrey up north and in Hastings as well. And I've never really had bidding wars. And so one of the properties that I put on for £850 went for £925. And that wasn't me asking. I put it out for £850 and people were willing to pay more. So I'll obviously accept that if they're a good tenant and they pass the referencing checks and stuff like that. And so that's good for a landlord, obviously, to get more rent. Now, we also have to understand that landlords are being hit particularly hard at the moment. Interest rates are going up. Other things that are going to be very expensive for landlords very soon is the new EPC legislation. So we've got to spend a lot of money on insulating properties, double glazing, new boilers, and all of that sort of stuff that goes along with it. So that's going to happen. Now, also a downside of increasing rents is that in the future, maybe your tenant can't afford to pay. That's going to mean that you're going to get defaults, you're going to have difficulties with potential tenants as well. So I don't like anything that's going up particularly fast. I know people would assume that you would want your house price to go up really fast and your rent to go up really fast. But when those sorts of things happen, that's when you do get problems, right? It does get to a point where things do become unaffordable. And that isn't good for landlords, right? We might all want to get the higher rent, but if that tenant down the line can't pay you, then that's not a good thing either. Now, when I put these videos out and I talk about rents being high or property prices going up, if you look at the comments, there's always some people that will say, good, landlords are disgusting and they're the reason why house prices are going up and people can't afford to buy stuff. And if you watch my channel and watch what we do as our investment strategy, we take properties that are unloved, they're empty. So the house in Doncaster was empty for years. Anyone could have bought that property. That property was on with estate agents for a number of years and no one wanted to buy it, right? So that property was very run down. The people that lived either side, it was impacting their property because their value was lower, because having a house in the middle that is unoccupied and very clearly in disrepair is not good for anyone. And what also happens there is that people will do criminal damage to those types of properties if they're left vacant too long. And so what we do is we look for properties like that where we can add value. Now, a study has been made very recently. I read this in the Daily Mail last week. And what they were saying was a lot of the government legislation, if you're a landlord and you don't do it the right way, it's going to be very hard to make money going forward. So with the new EPC stuff, with Section 24, so you get taxed quite heavily on your income from your property. That means that a lot of landlords are just not interested in doing it anymore, so they're getting out of the market. Now, this is relevant to what our topic is here today. That is going to put more pressure and increase rents even more, which isn't good for anyone, right? And so if you have less landlords in the market, rents are going to be significantly higher. Nobody wants that. And that means that it's going to be really competitive and really tough. Some people don't want to buy a house. They want that option to rent because they maybe want to move around, or they want a job in one area of the country and they're not looking to plan to live there long term. And so they do want somewhere to rent. And so landlords aren't bad people. We are in it to make money for sure, but we also are providing a service. We're providing family homes for people. And a lot of people that are landlords are unfairly tarnished with this brush, where they're taking nice properties or properties that have potential and turning them into lovely family homes. And so we should be, as a nation, encouraging people to do that. In the northeast, for example, there are streets and streets and streets every time I go up there of houses that are in disrepair. A landlord buying that property is not taking that property away from anyone. No one wants to buy it. So the fact that someone is willing to risk their hard-earned money and invest in that property and make it livable, make it nice, and make it a family home for someone is a good thing. Is a very, very good thing in my opinion. But I'd love to know your thoughts on that. Do quickly like this video, guys. But that was just a quick video just to talk about rents have risen to their highest ever rate. Hopefully that percentage increase does start to slow down now, guys. You don't want to see rents going up even faster, because it will eventually get to a point where you don't get paid the rent anyway. And that's not a good thing. Do check out all the other videos on this channel. Do as well, if you want to come to our live event, we're going to be running a live event in London very, very soon. We've got more than 100 people registered already for that live event. All you need to do is just fill your details in the link in the description. Doesn't cost you anything, doesn't mean you're committed to anything. All it means is that as soon as the tickets come out, you will get notified about those first. So do fill in your details in there. And also there's a link to our free Facebook group as well. I'm James. Do check out the other videos, as I said, especially this one right here.